The eternal throne hung in space like a crown of death. It was massive beyond comprehension, a ring structure that circled a black hole feeding on its power. The accretion disk glowed with terrible beauty, matter spiraling to its doom, releasing energy that powered the Dominion capital. Admiral Bora Kang stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, staring at the image on the main screen. Around the throne, thousands of Dominion warships floated in defensive formations, the largest fleet ever assembled. "The ultimate fortress, this is suicide," Hyunwoo said quietly. "Even with the Council fleet supporting us, we are outnumbered 5-1. Bora did not look away from the screen. "I know, but what choice do we have? If we leave the throne intact, the Dominion will rebuild. In 10 years, they will come back. In 20 years, they will be stronger. We end this now, or we die trying." The human fleet had been reinforced. The Council had finally committed their remaining forces. 200 human ships, 300 Council vessels, against 3,000 Dominion warships. The mathematics were brutal, but humans had a plan. They always did. General Jae-sung Park commanded the ground forces. He was the grandson of Ambassador Ji-woo Park, who had stood before the Council all those years ago. He carried his grandmother's memory with pride. Jae-sung studied the holographic map of the Eternal Throne. The structure was enormous. Millions of kilometers of corridors, billions of inhabitants. Finding and destroying the power core would be nearly impossible. Nearly, but not completely. "We have one chance," Jae-sung said to his officers. "The Council fleet will attack from 3 directions. They will draw the Dominion forces away. Meanwhile, the human fleet approaches from the black hole shadow, a region where sensors do not work, where navigation is deadly." One of his lieutenants spoke up. "Sir, that region is a death trap. The gravitational forces will tear our ships apart. That is why no one expects us to come from there." "That is why it will work." The plan was set. The Council fleet jumped into position. High Chancellor Linara herself commanded from the flagship. She was old, dying, but she insisted on being there. This was her final battle. The Council fleet attacked. Plasma cannons fired. Particle beams lanced through space. The Dominion fleet responded with overwhelming force. The battle was joined. While the enemy was distracted, the human fleet made its move. They navigated the impossible region near the black hole. Ships struggled against gravity that wanted to crush them. Pilots fought their controls. Engineers pushed engines beyond their limits. 3 human ships were lost in the approach. Pulled too close to the event horizon. Gone in an instant. But the rest survived. They emerged directly above the Eternal Throne. "All ships, this is Admiral Kang. We have one chance. Hit them with everything. Do not hold anything back." The Deathworld Armada opened fire. Every railgun, every missile, every weapon. The barrage was overwhelming. Dominion ships closest to the throne had no warning. They were torn apart before they could respond. Bora drove the Indomitable forward. Her flagship was a wreck. Half its systems were offline. Its armor was scarred and blackened. But it still flew. It still fought. "We are breaching the outer defenses," Hyunwoo reported. Preparing boarding teams, Colonel Min Seok-an and his Marines prepared for the final assault. They would board the throne, fight through its defenders, reach the power core, and destroy it. It was a suicide mission. Everyone knew it. But no one hesitated. The boarding pods launched. They slammed into the throne's hull. Marines poured out, weapons ready. The fighting was immediate and brutal. Dominion defenders were everywhere. Elite soldiers, trained, equipped, deadly. But human Marines were something else. They had trained their entire lives for this moment. They fought with a fury that shocked the enemy. Min Seok led his team deeper into the structure. Every corridor was contested. Every room was a battlefield. His Marines fell one by one. But they pushed forward. Always forward. Behind them, engineer Da Yoon-song worked remotely from the fleet. She controlled a dozen drones searching for the power core. Her scanners picked up a massive energy signature deep in the structure. "Found it," she reported, sending coordinates to the ground team. General Jae-sung and his forces landed on the throne's surface. They fought their way inside. The battle was chaos. Thousands of soldiers on both sides. The corridors ran red with blood, but humans were relentless. They pushed through every defense. They paid in blood for every meter. And slowly, painfully, they advanced. The Eternal Sovereign, leader of the Dominion, watched from his throne room. He could not believe what he was seeing. These primitives, these Deathworlders, they were winning. He activated his final weapon, a doomsday device. If he could not win, he would destroy everything. The device would destabilize the black hole, create a supernova that would consume the entire system. Billions would die, but at least the Deathworlders would die with him. Dayun detected the activation. Her screens lit up with warnings. The weapon was charging. They had minutes, maybe less. Admiral, the Sovereign is activating a doomsday weapon. If it fires, we all die. Bora felt ice in her veins.
Can you stop it?
Maybe. If I can get a drone to the control system, it will be close, do it. Dayun worked frantically. Her fingers flew across her controls. She guided a drone through the throne's systems. Past security, past defenses. The weapon continued charging. 60 seconds to detonation. The drone reached the control node. Dayun began the override sequence. 30 seconds. Minseok and his team reached the throne room. The Eternal Sovereign stood there, tall and proud. His personal guard surrounded him. Elite warriors. The best the Dominion had. 15 seconds. The human Marines charged. The fighting was savage. Close quarters, no mercy. Minseok fought his way through the guards, his rifle blazing. 10 seconds, Dayun completed the override. The weapon powered down. The doomsday was averted. Weapon disabled, she reported. We are safe. The Eternal Sovereign saw his final gambit fail. He looked at Minseok with something that might have been respect. Then he activated a self-destruct device. If I cannot win, I will not surrender to primitives. The throne room exploded. Minseok and his team barely escaped. They ran through collapsing corridors as the structure began to fail. All forces, this is General Park. The throne is collapsing. Retreat to your ships now. Human and council forces evacuated frantically. The Eternal Throne was tearing itself apart. Massive sections broke free and fell toward the black hole. Admiral, we need to leave, Hyunwoo said urgently. The gravitational field is becoming unstable. All ships, full retreat. Jump to Rally Point Alpha. The human fleet pulled back. They escaped the gravitational well just as the Eternal Throne collapsed completely. The massive structure imploded, falling into the black hole. The Dominion capital was gone. Their leader was dead. The war was over. Within days, the remaining Dominion forces surrendered. Without their capital, without their sovereign. They had no will to fight. The conquered worlds were liberated. Billions of slaves were freed. But the victory was costly. The human fleet was shattered. Only 70 ships returned from the battle. Thousands of crew members were dead. The Indomitable itself was so damaged it would never fly again. Bora stood in the wreckage of her bridge. She looked at the names scrolling across her screen. Every human who had died in the war. So many names, so many lives. High Chancellor Linara sent a final message. She thanked humanity. She admitted the council had been wrong. She proposed a memorial. But Bora refused monuments. Instead, she ordered a different memorial built on Earth, a simple wall. With every name, every human who died defending the galaxy. The inscription was simple. They were called Deathworlders. They became legends. Ambassador Velthar, humbled by humanity's sacrifice, visited Earth for the first time. He stood before the memorial. He read the names, and he wept. I was wrong about your people. You are not monsters. You are heroes. I am sorry, Bora stood beside him. We do not need your apology. We need your partnership. The galaxy is safe now, but it will not stay that way forever. New threats will come, and when they do, we need to stand together. Velthar nodded. Together, High Chancellor Linara proposed a new law. No species would be judged by their origin, only by their actions. The council voted unanimously. Humanity took its place as a full member, equal, respected. Years passed. The scars of war slowly healed. The Outer Rim became a center of culture and innovation. Human-alien cooperation flourished. The galaxy entered a new age of peace, but Bora never forgot the cost. She retired from the military and became an ambassador. She traveled the galaxy telling the story of the war, ensuring no one forgot what happened, ensuring no one forgot why they fought. One day she received a strange message. It came from deep space, from beyond the known galaxy. A warning. Something was coming. Something worse than the Dominion. Bora looked at the message for a long time. Then she smiled. A hard smile. A warrior's smile. Let them come. The Deathworlders will be ready. Because that was what humans did. They survived. They fought. They protected those who could not protect themselves. It was in their nature. Born from a harsh world, forged in fire, tested in war. The galaxy had feared them once. Now the galaxy stood with them. And together they would face whatever came next, because the Deathworlders were not alone anymore. And that made them stronger than ever. 1 year had passed since humanity joined the Council. 1 year of building, training, preparing. The Outer Rim shipyards worked without rest. Every dock was filled with ships under construction. The sound of welding and hammering never stopped. Engineer Da Yoon Song stood in the heart of Shipyard 7, watching her masterpiece take shape. The ship was enormous, 3 kilometers long. Its hull was covered in railgun batteries and missile pods. Every surface bristled with weapons. This was the Ragnarok, the first of the new destroyer class, built to kill Dominion capital ships, built to win wars. Admiral Bora Kang walked beside her, studying the ship with approval. "She is beautiful," Bora said. "She is death," Daun replied, "to anyone who stands against us." The Deathworld Armada had grown to 200 ships, destroyers, cruisers, carriers, frigates, each one designed for one purpose: to destroy the Dominion. Human crews trained day and night. They learned to work with Council allies. They practiced tactics. They became the best fighting force the galaxy had ever seen, but the Dominion was not idle. They had learned about humanity now. They knew about the Deathworlders, and they were coming. The attack came without warning. A massive Dominion fleet jumped into Council space. 500 ships, the largest force they had ever assembled. Their target was clear: Obsidian Gate, the fortress world that controlled access to a dozen systems. The Council had tried to take Obsidian Gate 3 times. Each time they failed. Thousands of ships were lost. Millions of soldiers died. The fortress seemed impregnable, but humans had a plan. Captain So-Young Lim sat in the cockpit of her Wraith-class stealth bomber. Around her, 19 other Wraiths floated in the dark. They were invisible to sensors. Ghost ships in the void. So-Young was young, 25 years old, but she was the best pilot humanity had. Fearless, reckless, perfect for this mission. "All units, this is Shadow Lead," So-Young said over the encrypted channel. "We go in silent. We hit the orbital platforms, then we get out." "Simple." "Simple," replied one of her pilots. "Sure." The stealth bombers slipped through the Dominion defenses like ghosts. They approached the massive orbital defense platforms that ringed Obsidian Gate. Each platform could destroy a fleet. But they had one weakness. Their sensors looked outward, not inward. The Wraiths planted nuclear charges on the platform reactors. Silent, efficient, deadly. Then they retreated to a safe distance. "Charges set," So-Young reported. "Detonating in 3, 2, 1. The platforms exploded in brilliant flashes of light. 8 massive structures, each the size of a small moon, torn apart in seconds. The defenses of Obsidian Gate were crippled. That was the signal. The Deathworld Armada jumped into the system. Not at the edge where enemies expected, but right on top of the Dominion fleet. It was a dangerous tactic. Jumping so close to enemy ships could destroy your own vessels. But humans were used to taking risks. Admiral Bora Kang stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Around her, the crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment. "All ships, this is command, open fire. Show them what Deathworlders can do." The human fleet unleashed hell. Railguns fired slugs at incredible speeds. Missiles streaked through space in swarms. Coil guns hammered away at Dominion shields. The barrage was overwhelming. The Dominion fleet tried to respond. Their energy weapons fired back. Plasma cannons, particle beams. Beautiful and deadly. But human ships were built tough. Thick armor, redundant systems. They absorbed punishment that would destroy Council vessels, and humans hit back harder. Colonel Min Seok-an led the boarding teams. His special forces were the best humanity had. Enhanced armor, combat drugs, training that bordered on insanity. They lived for this. Boarding pods launched from human carriers. Small, fast, and nearly invisible. They slammed into Dominion command ships. The pods drilled through hull plating and disgorged their cargo. Human Marines, the fighting inside was brutal. Close quarters. Hand to hand. Dominion soldiers were tall and strong, but humans were relentless. They fought with a savagery that shocked the enemy. Min Seok led his team through the corridors of a Dominion flagship. His rifle barked in short, controlled bursts. Each shot found its target. Behind him, his Marines moved with perfect coordination. They reached the bridge. The Dominion captain stood there, tall and proud. He raised his weapon. Min Seok was faster. 3 shots. The captain fell. Bridge secured, Min Seok reported. Moving to engineering, 10 more Dominion ships fell to boarding teams. Their crews were killed or captured. Their weapons fell silent. The human tactic was working, but the Dominion was adapting. They pulled back their damaged ships. They changed their formation. They began to coordinate their fire. Slowly, they regained their balance. Bora watched the tactical display. The battle was turning. The Dominion had more ships, better technology. If this became a grinding fight, humanity would lose. "We need to end this now," she said to Hyun-woo. "Do we have a firing solution on their flagship?" The commander checked his console. "Yes, but we will need to get close. Very close, then take us in. Full speed." The Indomitable surged forward. Enemy fire hammered its shields. Hull plating burned away. Alarms blared across the bridge. But Bora stood steady, watching the distance close. 5 kilometers. 4. 3. "Fire the main gun," Bora ordered. The Indomitable's spinal railgun fired. It was the largest weapon humanity had ever built. A 20-meter slug accelerated to 0.9 light speed. The slug hit the Dominion flagship dead center. The enemy ship split in half. The explosion was visible across the entire battle space. The Dominion fleet faltered. Their commander was dead. Their flagship destroyed. For the first time, they felt something they had never experienced before. Fear. "All human ships press the attack," Bora commanded. "Do not let them regroup." The Deathworld armada surged forward. They had the momentum now. They had the advantage, and they were not going to waste it. The battle for Obsidian Gate lasted 6 hours. When it was over, 200 Dominion ships were destroyed or captured. The fortress world was free, and humanity had proven something important. They were not just survivors. They were conquerors. Council observers watched the battle from a safe distance. They could not believe what they had seen. The humans had done what the Council could not. They had broken the Dominion, but the victory came at a cost. 20 human ships were destroyed. 5,000 crew members dead. The Indomitable was so damaged it could barely move. Engineers worked frantically to keep it from breaking apart. Bora walked through the damaged corridors of her flagship. She saw wounded crew members being carried to medical bays. She saw burn marks and blood on the walls. She saw the price of victory written on every surface. But when she reached the observation deck, she looked out at the fleet. Battered, scarred, but still flying, still fighting. Hyun-woo joined her. His uniform was torn and dirty. He had a bandage on his arm. "We won," he said simply. "We won a battle," Bora corrected. "The war is far from over." A message came through from High Chancellor Lin Ara. The Council was grateful, amazed. They wanted to honor humanity, to celebrate the victory, but Bora was not interested in celebrations. She opened a channel to the entire human fleet. "We proved ourselves today. We showed the galaxy what humans can do. But this is not over. The Dominion has a capital, a throne world. A heart we need to cut out. Rest while you can. Repair your ships. Say goodbye to fallen friends, because soon we march on the eternal throne, and we will end this war, one way or another." The crew cheered, tired, wounded, but unbroken. The Deathworld armada had proven itself. Now came the final test. The battle that would decide the fate of the galaxy. The Swift Talon limped back into Outer Rim space 3 days later. The ship was damaged, running on emergency power, but it was alive. And it carried information that would change everything. Commander Hyun-woo Yoon stood before Admiral Bora Kang and her senior staff. His uniform was dirty and torn. He had not slept since the encounter. But his eyes were sharp and focused. "Show us what you found," Bora said quietly. Hyun-woo activated the holographic display. The battle played out before them. 200 Council ships destroyed in 12 minutes. The senior staff watched in stunned silence. "Their shields are designed for energy weapons," Hyun-woo explained. "Plasma cannons, particle beams, lasers, that is what the Council uses. That is what the Dominion expects." He brought up detailed scans of Dominion ships, but look at this. Their shields have a weakness. They barely respond to kinetic weapons. Railguns, missiles, projectiles. The Council abandoned those technologies centuries ago. Too primitive, they said. But we still use them. Engineer Da-Wun Song leaned forward. Her mind was already racing with possibilities. You are saying our weapons can hurt them. More than hurt them. Our weapons can kill them. A railgun slug moving at a fraction of light speed will punch through their shields like paper. Our missiles carry nuclear warheads. Our coil guns fire tungsten rods. Everything we built is perfectly designed to fight these enemies. The room erupted in discussion. Bora raised her hand for silence. The Dominion does not know about us yet, but they will. Commander Yoon barely escaped. They detected his ship. They will be curious. They will investigate. And when they learn about humanity, they will come for us. How long do we have? Asked Da-Yun. Weeks, maybe less. The Dominion moves fast. We need to prepare. Bora made her decision. She sent an encrypted message to High Chancellor Linara. The message was simple. Humanity had information about the Dominion. They wanted to meet, to talk, to help. The response came within hours. Linara agreed. But the meeting would have to be secret. Ambassador Velthar and his faction could not know. They would never allow cooperation with Deathworlders. Bora traveled to a neutral location, a small station at the edge of Council space. When she entered the meeting room, she found Linara waiting. The High Chancellor was old now. Her exoskeleton had dulled with age, but her mind was still sharp. She looked at Bora with something that might have been respect. You came, Linara said, after everything we did to your people. You came to help us. We came because it is the right thing to do, Bora replied, and because if you fall, we fall next. Practical. I appreciate honesty. Linara gestured to a chair. Tell me what you learned. Bora shared everything. The tactical data, the shield weakness, the potential strategies. Linara listened in silence, her alien features unreadable. We abandoned kinetic weapons 3,000 years ago, Linara said quietly. We thought them barbaric, crude. We built elegant energy weapons instead, beautiful and clean. And now that choice may cost us everything. She looked directly at Bora. What do you need from us? Recognition, Bora said simply. When this is over, humanity joins the Council. As full members. Not prisoners. Not second-class citizens. Equals, you ask for much. We are offering our lives. That seems like a fair trade. Linara was silent for a long time. Then she nodded, agreed. But first you must prove yourselves. Words mean nothing now. Only action matters. Bora returned to the outer rim with the weight of the galaxy on her shoulders. She gathered her fleet. Every ship. Every crew. Everyone who could fight. The news came 3 days later. A Dominion Vanguard fleet had been detected. They were heading straight for the outer rim. 50 ships. Maybe more. They were coming to exterminate humanity before the Deathworlders could become a threat. Bora stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Indomitable. Around her, the human fleet took position. 40 ships, against 50. The odds were not good, but humans had never cared much about odds. All ships report ready, Admiral, Hyunwoo said from his station. Good. Remember the plan. We do not fight them in open space. We fight them in the asteroid fields. In the debris zones, we use every advantage we have. The Dominion fleet emerged from their jump. Their ships were beautiful in a terrible way. Black as night, covered in those shifting geometric patterns. They moved in perfect formation. The Dominion commander sent a message. The translator made it sound cold and emotionless. Deathworld species detected. Extermination protocol initiated. Surrender is not an option. Bora smiled grimly. She opened a channel to the entire human fleet. They think they can exterminate us. They think we are prey. Let us show them what Deathworlders really are. All ships execute Plan Alpha. Hunt them. The human fleet scattered. They did not charge forward like the Council fleets had done. They disappeared into the asteroid fields and debris clouds that littered the outer rim. The Dominion fleet pursued. They were confident, arrogant. They had destroyed hundreds of Council fleets. These primitive humans would be easy. The first Dominion ship entered an asteroid field. Immediately, the asteroids exploded. Nuclear mines hidden throughout the field detonated in sequence. The Dominion ship's shields flickered under the kinetic blast waves. Before it could recover, railgun rounds slammed into its hull from 3 different directions. The ship broke apart. The Dominion fleet stopped advancing. They had lost a ship. That had never happened before. Not to primitives. They spread out searching for the human ships. But humans knew these asteroid fields better than anyone. This was their home. Every rock, every shadow, every hiding place. 3 more Dominion ships moved through a debris cloud. Suddenly, stealth frigates appeared behind them, human ships running silent and dark. They fired missile salvos at point-blank range, hundreds of missiles, each one carrying a nuclear warhead. The Dominion shields tried to stop them. Energy barriers flared bright. But the missiles were physical objects. They punched through. The explosions were blinding. 2 Dominion ships were destroyed. The third was crippled, drifting. Now the Dominion fleet was angry. They began to understand. These humans were not like the Council species. They did not fight fair. They were hunters, predators. The battle raged for 6 hours. The Dominion had superior technology. Faster ships, better sensors. But humans had something else. Desperation, creativity, and a complete willingness to die fighting. Bo-Ra watched from the Indomitable as the tactical display updated. 12 Dominion ships destroyed, 8 damaged. But humanity had paid a price too. 7 ships lost, thousands of crew members dead. "Admiral, the Dominion fleet is withdrawing," Hyunwoo reported. His voice was filled with disbelief. "They are retreating." The bridge crew erupted in cheers. Bo-Ra allowed herself a small smile. But she knew this was just the beginning. The Dominion fleet jumped away, damaged and demoralized. They had come to exterminate a primitive species. Instead, they had been bloodied and driven back. News of the battle spread through the galaxy faster than light. The Council could not believe it. Humans had fought the Dominion and won. The Deathworlders had proven themselves. Bo-Ra received another message from Linara. This one was official, public. Broadcast to the entire Council. Humanity has proven their worth in battle. They have shown courage and sacrifice. By the power vested in me as High Chancellor, I hereby grant humanity full membership in the Galactic Council. There was one condition. Humanity must lead the counteroffensive against the Dominion. The Deathworlders must become the galaxy's shield. Bo-Ra looked at her fleet, battered, scarred, but unbroken. She thought about all the humans who had died, and all those who would die in the war to come. Then she opened a channel to the entire Outer Rim. People of Earth, people of humanity. The galaxy needs us, not because they want us, because they have no choice. We will fight, not for glory, not for revenge, but because it is right, and because we are the only ones who can win this war. The Deathworld Armada was about to be born. 50 years had passed since that terrible day at Proxima Station. 50 years since humanity was cast out into the dark. But humans were nothing if not stubborn. Admiral Bo-Ra Kang stood on the observation deck of Outer Rim Station, looking out at her fleet. Dozens of warships floated in formation, their hulls marked with scars from countless training exercises. This was humanity's shield. The Outer Rim Defense Force. Bo-Ra was the daughter of Captain Dae-Won Kim. Her father had died 10 years ago, but his lessons lived on in her. He had taught her never to trust the Council, never to forget how they had treated humanity, and always be ready to fight. "Admiral, you have a visitor," said Commander Hyunwoo Yoon. Her second-in-command was a tactical genius, young but brilliant. He gestured to the docking bay. "Captain Han is here." Young Mi-Han walked onto the deck with her usual confidence. The merchant captain ran illegal trade routes into Council space, smuggling goods both ways. She made a fortune doing it, but more importantly, she gathered information. "Admiral," Young Mi said with a slight bow, "we need to talk." In private, they moved to Bo-Ra's office. Young Mi pulled out a data chip and slid it across the desk. "What am I looking at?" Bo-Ra asked. "The end of the galaxy as we know it," Young Mi replied. Her usual smile was gone. "The Council is at war, and they are losing. Badly." Bo-Ra inserted the chip. The holographic display showed star maps marked with red zones. Hundreds of systems, all fall into something called the Dominion. "Who are they?" Bo-Ra asked. "No one knows where they came from. Beyond the Galactic Rim, maybe. They showed up 3 years ago and started conquering everything in their path. Council fleets cannot stop them. Their technology is superior. Their tactics are ruthless. Billions are dead or enslaved." Bo-Ra studied the maps. The red zones were expanding. Fast. At this rate, they would reach Council core worlds within 5 years. "Maybe less. Why are you telling me this?" Bo-Ra asked. The council made it clear they do not want our help. Because things have changed, young Mi said.
I have contacts in the council.
Quiet ones. They say High Chancellor Linara wants to reach out to humanity. She is old now, but still in power. She remembers you. She wants help. And the rest of the council? Divided. Felthar and his faction still hate us. They would rather die than ask Deathworlders for help. But others are desperate. They have lost entire fleets. Their safe little galaxy is burning. Bora leaned back in her chair. Part of her wanted to laugh. The mighty council, brought low by an enemy they could not understand. But another part of her felt the weight of those billions of deaths. I need to think about this, Bora said. Think fast, Admiral, because if the council falls, the Dominion will not stop. They will come for the Outer Rim next. For Earth. For all of us. After young Mi left, Bora called an emergency meeting. Her senior staff gathered in the war room. Commander Hyun-Woo Yoon, Engineer Da-Yun Song, who ran the shipyards, and via video link, old Dr. Hana Lee, who had been there at first contact all those years ago. Bora showed them the data. The room fell silent. They want our help now, Hyun-Woo said bitterly. After 50 years of treating us like animals. After keeping us locked in this corner of space. Now they come begging. Can you blame them for being angry? Dukyun asked quietly. We would do the same in their position. Fear makes people cruel. Fear or not, they were wrong about us, Hyun-Woo replied. We proved ourselves peaceful. We built our colonies. We stayed in our sector, and they still watched us like prisoners. Dr. Hana Lee spoke from the screen. Her voice was weak but clear. She was 90 years old now, but her mind was still sharp. I was there when they rejected us. I saw the fear in their eyes. It hurt more than I can say, but I also understand it. We are different. Dangerous by their standards. They had never met anyone like us. She paused, gathering strength. But this is our chance. Not for revenge. For redemption. We can show them who we really are. We can prove that Deathworlders are not monsters. We are protectors. If we help them now, we save billions of lives. And we earn our place in the galaxy. Bora looked at each face around the table. She saw anger, doubt, but also hope. We will not commit our entire fleet, Bora decided. Not yet. We send one ship. A scout vessel. We observe this war. We learn about the Dominion. Then we decide if humanity will fight. Hyun-Woo nodded. It was a careful plan, smart. I will go, he volunteered. The Swift Talon is ready. Small, fast, and stealthy. Perfect for reconnaissance. Be careful, Commander, Bora said. We need you to come back alive. 2 weeks later, the Swift Talon departed. Hyun-Woo commanded a crew of 30. All volunteers. All the best humanity had to offer. They jumped toward council space, following coordinates young Mi had provided. The journey took them through abandoned systems. They saw the aftermath of war everywhere. Dead ships floating in space. Stations shattered and dark. Colonies burned to ash. The Dominion left nothing behind. This is worse than the report suggested, said the censor officer. There is nothing left. No survivors. No resources. Just destruction. Hyun-Woo felt cold inside. This was not conquest. This was extermination. They reached the edge of an active battle zone. Through the Swift Talon's sensors, they watched a council fleet engage the Dominion. The council had 200 ships. Heavy cruisers, carriers, destroyers. A force that should have been unstoppable. The Dominion had 50 ships. But they were different. Sleek. Black. Covered in strange geometric patterns that seemed to shift and move. The battle lasted 12 minutes. The council fleet was annihilated. The Dominion weapons cut through shields like they were not there. Their ships moved with impossible speed and coordination. It was not a battle. It was a slaughter. Commander, the censor officer said quietly. We are being scanned. Hyun-Woo felt his blood turn to ice. The Dominion fleet was turning toward them. Slowly. Like a predator that had just noticed prey. All power to stealth systems, Hyun-Woo ordered. Go dark, complete silence. The Swift Talon shut down everything except life support. They drifted in the debris field, hiding among the wreckage of the council fleet. The crew barely breathed. 3 Dominion ships approached. Their sensors swept back and forth, searching. Hunting. One of them passed within a kilometer of the Swift Talon. So close that Hyun-Woo could see details on its hull. Strange symbols. Alien architecture, and weapons. So many weapons, minutes passed like hours. Finally, the Dominion ships moved away. They had not found the Swift Talon. Or perhaps they simply did not care about one small ship. "Get us out of here," Hyunwoo ordered. "Maximum stealth. Plot a course back to the rim." As they jumped away, Hyunwoo compiled everything they had recorded: sensor data, tactical analysis, ship designs, battle patterns. Every piece of information would be critical, because now Hyunwoo understood the truth. The Council was not just losing. They were doomed. Without help, every world would fall, every species would be enslaved or destroyed, and if the Council fell, humanity would be next. The Swift Talon raced home through the dark, carrying the weight of the galaxy's fate in its databanks. The stars looked different through the window of the horizon's edge. Captain Daewon Kim stood on the bridge watching the massive station ahead. It was called Proxima Station, and it was bigger than anything humanity had ever built. The structure circled a neutron star like a giant metal ring. Thousands of ships moved around it like insects around a lamp. Daewon felt his heart beating faster. This was it. First contact with alien life. Not just one species, but hundreds of them. The Galactic Council had been out here for thousands of years and humanity had no idea. "We are being scanned, Captain," said Lieutenant Tae-Yang Choi from his station. The young security officer looked nervous. His hand stayed close to his weapon. "Multiple sources. They are very interested in us." "Let them look," Daewon replied calmly. "We have nothing to hide." Ambassador Jiwoo Park entered the bridge. She wore formal diplomatic robes and carried herself with confidence. Behind her walked Dr. Hana Lee, the xenobiologist. Hana carried a tablet full of notes about alien species. "How do I look?" Jiwoo asked with a slight smile. "Like someone about to make history," Daewon answered. "Are you ready?" "As ready as anyone can be." Jiwoo looked out at the station. "We have practiced this moment 1,000 times, but now that we are here, I feel like a child again." Dr. Hana Lee checked her tablet one more time. Her face showed worry. She had studied every piece of information Earth had gathered about the Council. It was not much. Most of it came from old signals and distant observations. "Remember," Hana said quietly, "these species have worked together for millennia. They have rules we do not know. Be careful with every word." The horizon's edge docked at the station. The airlock opened with a hiss. Beyond it stood a welcoming committee of aliens. Daewon had seen pictures, but nothing prepared him for the reality. The leader was an insect-like being, tall and elegant. Her exoskeleton shimmered with purple and gold colors. She moved with grace that seemed impossible for something so alien. This was High Chancellor Linara of the Velix. Beside her stood a reptilian creature with scales like polished stone. His eyes were cold and calculating, Ambassador Velthar of the Kryn. He looked at the humans the way a predator looks at prey. Behind them floated something that could only be described as a living cloud. Colors shifted within its form. Dr. Korix of the Talvek, a gaseous being that studied new species. "Welcome to Proxima Station," Linara said. Her voice came through a translator device. It sounded musical and warm. "We are honored to meet the representatives of Earth. Your arrival has been anticipated." Jiwoo stepped forward and bowed slightly. "The honor is ours, High Chancellor. Humanity comes in peace. We seek only friendship and knowledge." "Peace is the foundation of the Council," Linara replied. "Come, the Council chamber awaits." They walked through corridors filled with beings from across the galaxy. Some looked almost human. Others were beyond description. All of them stopped to stare at the newcomers. Whispers followed the human delegation like wind through grass. The Council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of representatives sat in curved rows that rose toward the ceiling. At the center was a platform where speakers could address the assembly. The humans stood there feeling very small and very alone. Jiwoo spoke clearly and confidently. She told the Council about Earth, about humanity's journey to the stars, about their hope to join the galactic community. Her words were careful and kind. She made humanity sound peaceful and reasonable. The Council listened in silence. Then Linara spoke. Her voice was still warm, but there was something careful in it now. "Before we can proceed, we must conduct a standard bioscan. This is required for all new species. It ensures compatibility and safety. Do you consent?" "Of course," Jiwoo agreed. A beam of light passed over each human. It lasted only seconds. Then the data appeared on screens throughout the chamber. Dr. Korik studied it first. The gaseous being's colors suddenly shifted from calm blues to alarmed reds. This cannot be accurate, Korik said. The translator made his voice sound shocked. Run the scan again. They ran it 3 more times. Each time the results were the same. A murmur spread through the chamber. It grew louder. The humans looked at each other in confusion. What is wrong? Jiwoo asked. What does the scan show? Dr. Korix turned to face her. You come from a Class 12 death world. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Aliens spoke rapidly in languages the humans could not understand. But the fear was universal. I do not understand, Jiwoo said. What is a death world? Linara raised a hand for silence. The chamber quieted, but the tension remained. Worlds are classified by their habitability, the High Chancellor explained. Most council species evolve on Class 3 to 6 worlds. Mild climates, low gravity, few predators, safe environments. A Class 12 world is among the most hostile planets ever catalogued. Velthar stood up. His voice was harsh and loud. The translator made it sound like grinding stone. Your planet's gravity is twice that of most civilized worlds. Your atmosphere would corrode our ships. Your oceans are filled with acids and salts that would dissolve our flesh. Your land crawls with venomous creatures and apex predators. Your microbes are aggressive enough to be classified as biological weapons. He pointed at the humans with a clawed finger. And you are products of that nightmare world. Your bodies are built for war. Extreme pain tolerance. The ability to heal from injuries that would kill any of us. You are not diplomats. You are weapons. Daewon stepped forward, his hand moving instinctively toward his sidearm. Taeyang tensed, ready to fight. But Jiwoo raised her hand, stopping them. We are not weapons, she said firmly. We are explorers, scientists, artists. Yes, Earth is a difficult world. But it made us strong, not evil. We come in peace. Velthar laughed. It was a terrible sound. Your own history shows constant warfare. Your species has nearly destroyed itself multiple times. You wage war over resources, beliefs, and territory. You are exactly what we feared. The chamber erupted again. Some aliens called for immediate quarantine. Others demanded the humans be escorted from council space immediately. A few voices called for something worse, though the translators did not make those words clear. Linara called for order. It took several minutes for the chamber to quiet. The council must vote, she announced. But first, Ambassador Jiwoo, you deserve a chance to speak. Jiwoo took a deep breath. Yes, we have fought wars. Yes, Earth is a harsh world. But those things taught us survival. They taught us cooperation. We learned that working together is the only way to thrive. We did not come here to threaten you. We came here hoping to learn from you, to join something greater than ourselves. Her words were passionate and honest. Some aliens seemed moved. Others remained suspicious. The vote was called. Humanity would not be attacked, but they would not be welcomed either. They were granted provisional status and assigned to a remote sector, far from council space. They would be watched, studied, kept at a distance. As the humans returned to their ship, Jiwoo felt tears on her face. They had come so far, hoping for so much, and they were being sent away like dangerous animals. The horizon's edge undocked and turned toward the dark space beyond the council worlds. The journey home would be long and quiet. No one spoke. Daewon sat in his captain's chair, watching the stars. His console beeped softly. An encrypted message from an unknown source within the council. He opened it. The words chilled him to his core. You are not the first Deathworlders. The others were exterminated. Leave now or you will be next. Daewon stared at the message for a long time. Then he deleted it and set course for home. Humanity would remember this day, and one day they would prove the council wrong, or die trying.